audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Camille Majdali.
Let's continue on with our thoughts about the power of biblical meekness. Now, this meekness, Camille, it involves a sense of waiting. Sometimes we're impatient about our desire for peace, for prosperity, for good things to happen. And sometimes this impatience gets in the way of being meek.
Well, indeed, impatience causes you not only to make a hash of what should be a blessing, but it can also cause serious problems for oneself and for others. Just remember, we all want, whether we walk with God or not, peace, prosperity, blessing, and it's always been the dream of past dictators and present-day globalists to unite the world for the purpose of peace and prosperity. And these are utopian notions that if somehow you have an economic, political, and spiritual union under one leader and one government, then peace and prosperity will descend like a dove upon us all. There have been numerous attempts in history to provide precisely that, whether through fascism, Nazism, communism, and all of these attempts have failed. And in fact, the opposite has resulted: tyranny, dictatorship, warfare, oppression, genocide, and the like. So we need to do it a better way, God's way. Because in Psalm 96, verse 13, it actually says that God is coming to this planet. The Lord is coming to judge the earth with righteousness and truth. And think about it, Neil. Every time we recite the Lord's Prayer, we are asking for God to let his kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So I believe that when God's kingdom comes, there will be peace and prosperity, but that requires waiting on the Lord.
Sometimes when we think of these high ideals, we're thinking of the leaders, and you're reflecting even on the idea of the leaders of nations. But what about the grassroots? What about the individual? What about you and I? How do we see that meekness working out to see the prosperity and the peace of a nation?
Well, that's simple, Neil. When people live in the power of biblical meekness, quietly determined to do God's will despite distraction, opposition, and hurdle, when they keep going in that grace, God promises them they will inherit the earth. They will do so, of course, in Christ. And remember, our identity in Christ is so lofty and so powerful, it's beyond description. Like, for example, we are ambassadors in Christ. We are kings and priests in Christ. We are more than conquerors in Christ. We are victorious. In fact, we have the victory, not just any victory, but it's all in Christ. So when you take your identity in Christ, couple that with the spirit and power of biblical meekness, then you as an individual with Christ and with his church will go forth. And yes, you will inherit the earth and you will judge the angels, as the Apostle Paul tells us.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Camille Majdali from Teach All Nations. Find articles, videos and podcasts from Dr. Camille, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future in the Vision app or at vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.